know you heard me on the radio. Flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.
Fury fam, it's your host Larry K here talking Dolphins. You know my mood, man. I know there's a winning streak going. Some of you guys are texting me. You're talking. There's an outside chance we're listed as in the hunt. And it's happening. What we thought would happen is in fact happening. This is happening right here. This is where a lot of fans are. I'm not one of them. You guys know where I'm at. Another really not a great performance by the Miami Dolphins in a lot of levels. I mean, the defense is playing pretty well. The teams we've been going up against haven't been very good, so it's not like the competition is up there. What gets me the most, I think, and why it's hard for me to get excited right now is I have a real sneaking and honest suspicion that Stephen Ross is planning to bring back Mike McDaniel. At this point, I don't know if, what the story is going to be with Tua Tagovailoa. Either way, I think it's just kind of treading water for this franchise. We're not making any bold moves. We're not trying to launch a new chapter. We're kind of just treading water as Stephen Ross has consistently done as Dolphins owner. And I think that's just a bit disheartening to me. I'm not content with being under 500 and just being in the hunt at this stage of the rebuild. You let go your GM, and yet you still have the coach. You still have this quarterback. I don't know really where you're going. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're doing it. What's the method to your madness? But the Dolphins do escape with a win against the Saints, 21-17. The Saints are 2-10. I mean, that's not a huge accomplishment. Not to mention that there was a crazy 2-point conversion that went the other way for the Dolphins. And had that not happened, the Saints would have been in position after that onside kick recovery to kick the game-tying field goal. But they weren't able to do that, or even the game-winning field goal. Because of that odd 2-point conversion, they weren't able to do that, and they lose. But that's what bad teams do. They lose. The Saints are going to lose that game. But the Dolphins didn't look particularly good, especially on offense, for a lot of that game. Mike McDaniel has become this guy, and I've said this previously. He's become this guy where he finds a way to exploit defenses based on one-trick ponies, and he can ride that as long as it'll take him against, teams that aren't very good, against unsuspecting defenses, unsuspecting defensive coordinators. He can ride that for a while, but it will always catch up to him. And that's one of the reasons I'm wary of continuing to go down this path. What we've seen in this winning streak is he's found a new weapon to just ride all the way out in Devon Achane. Achane's been one of the better and most talented running backs since we drafted him. I've been saying I was a fan of the kid. I've been saying he was super talented. A lot of people out there were saying you can't ride him. He's not a bell cow. He's going to get hurt. You can't keep running him between the tackles. I think to an extent there's some merit to that argument, right? I do think at some point it's going to be hard to continue to ride Achane forever, and that's why I think this luck is going to run out at some point, and we'd be foolish to think that this is going to carry us anywhere significant in the long run. But Mike McDaniel has found a way to harness the mauling power of the offensive line and to ride behind Achane and get us to where he wants to go. So Achane with another just lights out, excellent performance. 22 carries, 134 yards. He's averaging 6.1 yards a carry, a touchdown, longest run of 29 yards. I mean, averaging 6.1 yards a carry is just absolutely, it's a beast performance. And he's been a beast for as long as the Dolphins have needed him. The passing game, not nearly as impressive, and it hasn't been impressive. Waller with 2 catches for 47 yards, Long of 34. Waddle, 3 catches for 40 yards. You got Washington, 4 for 30. And Tua Tagovailoa, the stat line there. I mean, all the people that are obsessed with stats, and now it'll be wins, right? Instead of stats, the Tuaneers out there. 12 of 23 for only 157 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 4 times. At this point, Tua is, and there's always been a lot of speculation, discussion, debate about whether Tua Tagovailoa is a passenger, no matter what. He's not a game changer. Is he just kind of along for the ride, and can he play his role and not screw up the game? I think that's starting to bear out as you see Mike McDaniel lean much more heavily on the run game, lean much more heavily on Achane. You're seeing it come out that, Tua is a passenger in a lot of these wins. The Bills, decent performance, and he performed okay here and there. But the last few games where they barely squeaked by, they're relying primarily on the run game. And Tua has shown that he really kind of is a passenger in this whole thing. Total yards, Miami eked out 298 to 294. Passing yards, the Saints beat us 213 to 134, but it was rushing yards that were the difference. 164 to the Saints 81. And that's going to win you time of possession. We won it by just a few seconds. Evenly matched against a terrible team, having a bad season. It's nothing to hang your hat on. I'm not going to get on the bandwagon. They play the Jets this week, and they have a chance to get close to 500. And I'm going to be at the game against the Jets because it's local. Somebody gifted me tickets. I'm going to go. I'm going to take in the atmosphere, but I'm not a believer yet in this team, and I am not a believer in this franchise until I see what the plan is. One thing I will say that seems kind of interesting right now is you are seeing this Tua as a passenger and Mike McDaniel leans so heavily on Achane. On one hand, you wonder, is that just a byproduct of what the team has to do to win? Because on the other hand, what I'm starting to think is that Mike McDaniel has very specific goals and specific objectives. And when he came in, one of the things I said was, I was suspicious of him and Tyreek coming in and hyping up Tua so much. I made Tua a mixtape of how great he is, the staged phone call on the plane. Can't wait to see how, show you how great you are, and all the hype for the fans and the jersey sales and selling to the Tua fans. And now could it be true? Could it be true that Mike McDaniel, now that he's trying to save his own job, and now that he's pivoting away from that assignment, when that assignment is no longer the assignment that Mr. Ross gave him on his plate to hype up and pump up Tua, could it be possible that Mike McDaniel is now purposely sitting Tua in the background and purposely relying on his bread and butter, which is run game design and schematics in the run game, and purposely running on the back of Achane because he knows Tua can't get it done and he no longer has a responsibility to bolster him? Could that be part of the issue here? I don't know. It's possible. But one thing I'm sick and tired of is Stephen Ross giving like every time we have a regime come in this franchise, you have somebody who starts to try to save their own job by pitting themselves against somebody else who they used to be buddy-buddy with. Now it's McDaniel saying, well, he didn't say it, but you can glean it behind closed doors. Oh, Greer was the issue. Give me a chance to do what I want to do and get my players and install my plan and bring in a GM to work with me. And Ross just seems to conduct his business this way, where within the organization, he thrives off internal conflict and let me go with this guy because this guy was the problem. Let me stay with this guy because that guy was the problem. Let me go with this guy because that guy was the problem. And it never works out because you never just do a clean slate and a clean sweep and turn the page. And I know I've been somebody on this channel who's been a little bit more MIA, who's been a little bit less enthusiastic because I just don't have patience for mediocrity. I don't have patience for the ebbs and flows of fandom in a season. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't get me going because I'm more of a big picture guy. I want to actually contend. I want to actually build a team that I believe is durable and consistent and can get us to the next level. And so I don't see anything currently that I think is going to get us there. So it's hard for me to be engaged, and pumped up about a win against the Saints or pumped up about a win against Washington overseas. I mean, and that's not going to do it for me. Get to 500, get a winning record and start to show me something and show me what the plan is for the future. And maybe I'll engage a little more, but it's kind of hard for me. This is not the channel that's built for the everyday clickbait and the everyday just, back and forth nonsense about the ebbs and flows. This is a channel that's built on big, objective, big picture, legitimate analysis. And I'm not seeing a lot right now from the Dolphins beating a couple of these teams. And I'm really not seeing it from an organizational standpoint in terms of where are you going? What's the plan? What can I expect? What are we aiming for? What are we building for? Who are the pieces? What are we doing? And so we fight on. Greg has a rant I'm going to publish. The Dolphins are on a little win streak. So if you're inclined to enjoy that, go ahead and enjoy that. But the season will bear out, I think, the truth about this team, which is that there are several deficiencies and weaknesses. And I'm not one to jump on the bandwagon just yet. But I am happy to sit here with Fury Fam and to talk to you because we've got to kind of wade. This is exactly the type of stuff I'm trying to avoid, this apathy that I have, this apathy that seems to be out there in general in the fan base. Okay, you beat a couple scrubs. We've done that before. Show me something new. Show me something worthwhile. And I'm kind of wading water and I'm treading water here with you guys, treading water. And I'm here and I'm talking, and then we're going to do that. But I'm looking for something more to actually grasp onto and talk about besides just a win against a terrible team with a fluke special teams play and a quarterback who didn't do so great on the back of the same running back who's been an absolute all-star all season. We've seen it. It's the same story. Turn the page. Let's do something significant. That's where I'm at. Guys, if you haven't done so, click the subscribe button, join, become a member. I know this season has been a little weak because the Dolphins have been a little weak, but this channel will remain here and we will continue to bring you news. And when something actually meaningful happens, we will have a lively discussion about it. You know that. Until next time, guys, Larry K is out. Please enjoy the outro song. And if you guys haven't done so yet, go check out Il Luciato. That's my musicians page, and I have 2 new music videos out if you dig the music that I have on the show. Talk to you guys soon. Larry K out.
I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.